Okay, we are live. Let me take a look at Facebook, make sure we're good there.
Okay.
We are all set. Excellent. All right, we will go ahead and get started, and then people will join us and be able to ask questions and things like that. But good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for our network welcome, our Westy Live. I'm Jamie Chavez. I'm the president and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And every Wednesday, we bring to you a live broadcast featuring one of our newest chamber members to introduce them and give them a chance to talk to you about their organization. If you are new to this broadcast, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I encourage you to like and follow if you're on Facebook so that you'll get notifications for when we go live in the future. And if you are on YouTube, you can hit subscribe, and then you can explore all of our previous broadcasts there as well. On Mondays, we also offer broadcasts that are dedicated to city updates from city councilors, mayor pro tem, and other city officials. And people down from City Hall. So that's your chance to hear about what's going on in Westminster. So we hope that you stay tuned for those as well. And then on Fridays, for one Friday a month, we do county updates featuring commissioners from both Jefferson County and Adams County. So stay tuned for those as well. As you watch the broadcast this morning, please feel free to engage with us, ask any questions, comments, simply say hello in the comments section, and we will get to those during the interview. And now a warm welcome to both Corey Warner and Matt Picorni. Thank you guys both so much. And if I said your names wrong, please correct me. But I'm just going to hand it over to the two of you to do an introduction to yourselves and to Pam Health.
Sure. Thank you for the invite, Jamie. I'll kick us off and then turn it over to my colleague, Matt. It's a real pleasure to be here. We take great pride in serving the community, and that extends a little bit farther than Westminster. But my name's Corey Warner. I'm a market CEO for Pam Health. What does PAM stand for? That stands for post-acute medical. So anything after the acute hospital. So we are a post-acute, subacute hospital. We are what I like to frame up for folks is we are a specialty hospital. We specialize in rehabilitation services such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. Both Matt and I are physical therapists by training, so we'll probably get off on our please keep moving tangent later. The importance of staying moving and active is a real relevant thing for all of us. So Pam Health has been in Colorado now for good 5+ years. We have what's called a long-term acute hospital. That's called the Denver Specialty Hospital. It's down by Sloan's Lake. And those are very ill patients. We have about 60 beds there. Majority of those are intensive care beds. And length of stay, how long somebody stays in the hospital there is probably longer than 30 days. And then we have inpatient rehab hospitals, rehabilitation hospitals, where Matt and I work. In Westminster, we have one in Golden and then one up in Greeley. And so we are really, I would say we're kind of a curveball hospital. We don't do surgeries. We don't deliver babies. This is somebody who has had an unfortunate event that has challenged their ability to go back home. What are those things? Those could be a stroke, a trauma, car wreck, you name it, anything that comes out of the blue, exacerbation of any musculosclerosis or ALS or Parkinson's, heart attacks, et cetera, et cetera. So we're really here to provide about a 2-week stay and really get the patients up and moving. So we provide 3 hours of therapy. That's a combined with physical, occupational therapy, and speech. And for those of you who don't know the differences, physical therapy is really what it sounds like. It's being physical, up, moving, walking is a heavy focus, being able to get out of bed, move yourself in bed, very mobility driven. Occupational therapy is focused on how you do your activities of daily living, such as dressing, showering, going to the bathroom, feeding yourself, etc. And then speech therapy focuses obviously on the speech element, but also the swallowing and cognitive elements as well. So we provide 3 hours of therapy a day. We spread that out. It's kind of 30-minute increments. Nobody's on the treadmill for 30 for 3 hours. We break it up. It's very regulated and progressive. And we take great pride in what we do. So again, we're a specialty hospital. We have doctors here, internal medicine doctors, 7 days a week, and then call at night, just like, Good Sam's really close to us, or Mountain Ridge Hospital, St. Anthony's North. And then we have physical medicine and rehabilitation doctors who focus on the pain management, the recovery processes and timelines, etc. We are measured on one key element, and that's getting people back home. And so we take great pride in getting about 90% of our patients back to the community, whether that's they came from assisted living or, home with, support staff or system. So we really take great pride in that. I think we're able to do that honestly because we provide a lot of one-on-one therapy in the inpatient side. And that one-on-one is a difference maker. There's other settings where we could do group therapy, meaning one therapist with like maybe 4 or 5 patients. We really try to keep ours one-on-one. So we're really focused on that. So we have great relationships with all the big hospitals. We've got a trauma relationship with many of the big trauma hospitals. We've got a trauma survivorship program. So we are very much locked into serving the community. We sit on the Regional Trauma Advisory Committee to make sure that we can accentuate the cares if and when needed, and are very proud to help, provide that extra coverage for the community. So with that, with my little bit here on the inpatient side, I'll turn it over to Matt, who can talk about our outpatient services.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah. So I work with our outpatient department. And so the patients that we see may be discharging from the inpatient that Corey was talking about, or they may be people in the community that didn't need to stay in the hospital and they want to come to us for their different therapy services. On an outpatient basis, we have all three, again, the PT, OT, and speech therapy. Some patients may need all of those or just one of those. And they typically come in about 2 to 3 days a week. And all of our sessions are an hour long. And again, where we see the best results and why we think we can really help people is because they're all one-on-one with their actual physical therapist or OT and speech therapist. Of course, we're in Colorado. There's a lot of orthopedic injuries from everything that goes on here. So we do see patients for what you might think of for speech or PT, like a broken ankle, broken wrist, someone that's had a knee replacement or hip replacement. But one of our other specialties is the neurological conditions. So we help a lot of people and have a specialty in things like after you've had a stroke, a spinal cord injury, Parkinson's, MS. So we can help those patients that need those services for different neurological disorders as well. And the fact that we have the hour-long sessions is nice because some of those people need that little extra TLC and that one-on-one longer session. So that's great. We're excited to have me as a physical therapist to be able to have that teamwork with the speech therapy as well. There's not a lot of speech therapy clinics for adults. When a lot of people think of speech therapy, they think of little kids that might need help with that. But for the adult population, someone that has had a stroke might have trouble formulating words. So the cognitive aspects of speech. Or on the flip side, someone that is having trouble swallowing from different conditions, or even a orthopedic surgery like a neck surgery where they have to go in through the front of the neck, and then they have trouble swallowing. That's not the reason they had the surgery, but it is a side effect. So we love helping people that really need that little extra TLC and can help get them from the whole person and help them in multiple ways.
Yeah, it reminds me of like my my kiddo's been hospitalized several times down at Children's Hospital, and before you can be discharged, all the therapists come in and do their evaluation, and so you've got everybody under one roof, which I think is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we do a really good collaborative meeting every Wednesday. We call it interdisciplinary team meetings, and the doctors, the nurses, the therapists, and social workers all get together and have a very pointed, strategic, almost meeting around that patient and what they need to make sure we can get them home. Matt, do you want to share some of the new technology we're working with regarding stroke care and post-stroke care?
Yeah, we're excited to be partnering with two different companies that have some fascinating new equipment that's out there, combining the technology with the mechanics of what's come along. So one of them is called Vivistim, and this is a vagus nerve implant. And it's showing remarkable results. That's researched back, it's FDA approved for someone that's had a stroke and they have any kind of hand or upper body strength or dexterity deficits, and it can help someone that's that had the stroke 6 months ago or even 15 years ago. The results are the same. So if someone's had the stroke, had problems, and they've hit this plateau, this implant, it's put in by a neurosurgeon, and it looks like a little pacemaker size thing that would be in their chest. And then the doctor runs a wire up to that nerve in the neck where it comes out of the skull. And it's basically like a biohack for your brain. So when they're doing the therapy, it's a 6-week regimen after the implant. And the therapist turns that on, or the patient can do it at home during their exercises. And it basically helps the vagus nerve, tells the brain to release all these good neurochemicals, and it bathes the brain in this happy juice, basically, and helps after a stroke for your brain to rewire around the part of the brain that was affected by the stroke. So the results show that patients are getting 10 times the benefit of just therapy alone. So that's a pretty cool thing. We're partnering with that group, and we're one of the only facilities in the state that has the therapists trained to do that post-implant therapy. So that's cool. That's called Vivistim. And another thing is a different company, Bioness. They have basically a cuff that you would put around your leg, and it's got functional electrical stimulation built in. So if you've had TENS or heard of that, or been in therapy where they put electrodes on your skin and it makes the muscle contract. Well, this thing has similar technology to your iPhone. When you pick your iPhone up, it knows to turn on for you. Well, this device knows when you're walking in certain parts of your step, it knows when to turn on, and it can engage those muscles that are weak or not working because of some neurological condition. And that's for people with foot drop. So that's where their body can't lift their toes up properly when they walk. So their foot drags. So that's another cool thing. And we do screenings for those two things, teaming up with
that's a lot of medicine talk there, Jamie. I hope everybody had their coffee this morning.
Sorry, we, like Corey said, we are physical therapists, so we do geek out a little bit on that stuff. But it's just these are tools that 10, 15 years ago, they just weren't there in the therapy world, and you hit a plateau, and the patient and the therapist kind of just settle with that point. But now there's new things out there that can help the person get more than they used to be able to.
Yeah. And so I think this is all really interesting. Do these tools and techniques work for someone that maybe has nerve damage?
Yes. Yeah. That's the premise behind any of the kind of external stimulators, if you will, is that the internal wiring is not working like it used to. And this is a supplement, if you will, to to turn on whatever muscle is altered by that disruption in the previous nerve connection. So the vagus nerve stimulator, it's hard to visualize if you don't know what that is, but it really can help people with strokes. I mean, strokes are something that are extremely hard to recover from.
Yeah.
In any accentuation you can have. I don't know, Matt, if you have the pre and post drawings, but they have, the pre-use of somebody signing their name and it's illegible. And then after, it's pretty much kind of how you would think as somebody would sign their name. So it's a pretty profound impact. It doesn't always work as well for everybody, but we're at a good point in medicine where innovation is really helping us out. And we at Pam, that's one of our core values, and that's something we really want to make sure we're watching and what's going on in the world.
Yeah. Then go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and with both devices too, I can see from a patient perspective, are you afraid of it being a crutch? By doing this, are you settling or just giving up? No, not only do these devices help when they're turned on or working, but they have after effects. So, they have the potential to help patients when they're not using it, or, get to a place where they don't have to rely on it as much. So it's, as a patient there and working with these patients my whole career, people are worried about that, but it's pretty neat to see that there's some carryover and, good side effects of using the devices.
Yeah. I've heard some about this. I have a kiddo who has spina bifida, and she doesn't actually have very much nerve damage at all. We're pretty lucky in that regard, but we know lots of kids that do have significant nerve damage. And so a lot of those kiddos are using similar technologies to help out with what they're going through. So super interesting. Yeah. And so then can you tell us, you mentioned social workers, nurses, a variety of other people. Can you talk about what other types of professionals come together to support your patient recovery?
Yeah, you bet. So we have the typical administrative services, the unit clerks who help check in. We have clerks who help, greet people. And then we have LPNs and RNs who help provide care. So that's the nursing side. And then we have certified nursing assistants who help accentuate what they do on the nursing end. Respiratory therapist. Those are the folks who help anybody who's had a trach or pneumonia or coming out of a lung-related COPD condition. So they help make sure the airways are functioning and, efficient. Like I said, we have the PTOT speech. We have numerous physician specialties such as internal med, PM&R, cardiology, pulmonology, et cetera, et cetera. We also have, we have everybody in here. We have the kitchen staff. We have the EVS staff. We're pretty proud of, giving people strong employment here.
How many people do you employ in the Westminster location?
We're about 170 and change. Some of those come and go with part-time jobs, so that would be a little bit more, or what we call PRN, just pickup shifts here and there. But yeah, we're proud to be a strong employer, and we've been on a very good growth trend at Westminster, and we've got a really strong history over the last couple of years, especially.
Yeah.
I want to just say, Corey just talked about, everything that we have in the house to help patients, but he talks a lot about being a part of the healthcare ecosystem in our community. And one thing that I am always so impressed about is our case managers, and even the outpatient therapy team. They are connectors and networkers for their patients. So when the patient leaves the hospital, we don't, just say goodbye, glad you had success here, see you later. They work really hard to set them up with the right doctor that they'll see after they leave, the right home care agency, or on the therapy side, we connect them with a team that will help the patient get the proper fitting wheelchair or different resources in the community. So we love being a part of the community, and it's actually really rewarding for Corey and myself, because we know that we're not just helping the patient for that hour or that week that they're there. We're helping set them up for success down the road. So it's pretty cool to be able to help those patients, have that direction to hopefully thrive.
It's a really good point, Matt. We also have, so that's kind of when they discharge from us. We also have clinical navigators who help patients make the transition from like an acute hospital, like a Good Samaritan, or even from home. We admit a lot of people from home who are failing to thrive, and our clinical navigators will go out and help them navigate all the processes, what to expect, and if there's any insurance elements. We take pretty much all the insurances, but sometimes authorization is required. So they also help on the front end. So we pretty much have you covered.
Got it. Awesome. Are there opportunities for local professionals to get involved either through obviously hiring, but volunteering or educational partnerships, maybe with school districts, higher education, that type of thing?
I absolutely love this question. The answer is yes. So on August 1st, it's a Friday. If you guys are around, come celebrate. We've been over 40 days fall free, which in healthcare is a big deal. And hopefully it's more than 40 by the time we get there. But 100%, we are open to anybody who would like to volunteer. We're open to any teachers who want to get exposure to science. And Matt, I'm sure, would love to show them in real time what these devices do. We're looking for vendors. We don't have an external kitchen here. Most of our kitchen is solely focused on the patients. And, we love going across the street to those restaurants. But if anybody has a food truck, we've got a lot of people who would take you up on that.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. And then without naming any names, obviously, do you have like a patient success story that sticks with you, or a moment when you knew you were really making a difference?
I have a really fun one, and Matt probably has other ones too. This gentleman I got to know really well. He was a skydiver, and he was visiting his son in Boulder. And it's Murphy, right? He really didn't want to do that jump that day, but the son is like, let's go. I mean, this guy had done numerous jumps. So he had a hard landing. He showed everybody the video. I think he bounced a good 10 times or so.
Ooh.
And miscalculated the lift of the chute and the crosswind and all these things, which made him kind of get skipping a rock, is how he described it. And so he had multiple lumbar fractures, a lot of swelling, a lot of immediate nerve interaction from the lower extremity, and really debilitated. And we were able to get him up and moving and then discharge home. And then we always love it when patients come back. And he was just in here. He's up doing rock climbing again with his friend. I was like, you're kind of a thrill seeker, I think.
Yeah.
But on our discharge paperwork, and I didn't even know our team had done this, but on our discharge paperwork, when he was flying back to Florida, where he fully resides, I guess our doctor had put in the discharge patient instructions, patient must stay in the plane the entire flight. And I just thought that was really fun. And it kind of speaks to who we have as a team here delivering care. I mean,
yeah,
some of this stuff is very serious. It's not fun. It's arduous. Right. You've had a curveball. You're wondering what your future is going to be. And will you have a quality of life? And just to have some of that lightness introduced into that was really fun. So he was just in, so he's top of mind. But that was really fun. He's doing great.
Awesome. Matt, anyone come to mind for you?
Well, I guess one would be like one of those devices we were talking about. Just yesterday we had a screening day for the one with for foot drop, and the patient's been struggling with her walking and dragging her toes and tripping. And our therapist knew that this technology existed, and they were able to link them up. And I mean, when that was turned on, it was night and day, her walking, just seeing that happen. So I think, that's a success of connecting people with the tools that they need. Another great one was a patient, kind of like that scenario I was describing earlier. I was out with this, doing a talk at this senior center, and it wasn't even what the patient or what we were talking about, but she said, well, I had a neck surgery, a year ago, and my voice is still hoarse. Is that something that speech therapy can help with? And, absolutely. And we were able to connect her, get the insurance taken care of. And she came in and she was able to talk better and, be able to be heard more, which is so valuable to her connecting with her family and her friends. So that was pretty neat to see something that sounds little to me, having a hoarse voice, like it's not a big deal, but if you have to live with that day in and day out, that's a huge part of your communication and your way to connect with other people.
Awesome. Well, what are you most excited about in the coming year for Pam Health and in Westminster?
Great question. Well, I hope everybody stays happy and healthy. That is our hope. I think what we're going to continue to do, just like any hospital, is continue to sharpen our skill set, expand our protocols. Medicine's at a really good spot right now, really good spot. So we're on some cutting edge things that are really going to help. We always stay advanced in our protocols as surgery techniques advance, especially in spine surgery. Right now, we're seeing a lot of advancements. So we're going to sharpen our sword or pencil, whatever you want to use. And then just really looking forward to the outcome stories like you were mentioned. I love that you asked about the patient, because Matt and I, we have a 9-to-5 job or sometimes longer than that. So, at times that's maybe a daily grind, but with this work, it is such purposeful work, and we're right down the hall from the patient. So you do not have to guess why you're working at the hospital today. So we'll stay very focused on getting everybody here and in a year from now as best as possible.
Awesome. Well, we have a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
Happy to do tours. Swing in, at either location. If you live closer to Golden, that's fine. If you live closer to Westminster, that's great. Swing in, tell them Corey and Matt sent you. We're happy to do a tour. We're happy to take questions in real time if you have any family members who might have had something, or you're wondering what options may be out there. Matt and I will be happy to help. No problem at all.
Great. Anything, Matt, from your end?
Ditto to all that. And you brought up a great thing about the volunteering and to build on that tour. That also can be very educational. So, we did a tour at the Golden location, but would love to do one in Westminster too. For the high school had a pre-med club, and I gave the same tour I give to patients and everyone. But those kids, the high school kids, we talked about each stop on the tour, but how that could develop into a career for them, or got their wheels turning about college. So so there's so much from helping the community for the patients, but also helping educate and talk about the field of medicine. So it's a pretty cool place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I never know where these interviews are going to go, and I'm so happy that you guys came on today and filled everyone in more about Pam Health, because I think probably people didn't know a ton about what you do. And so this has been a great conversation. Thank you both so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a good one. And thanks everyone for joining, and have a good rest of your week.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.